Five Nights at Freddy's is a franchise which needs no introduction. With countless hit games, books, and now even a full-feature movie with a sequel on the way, it's safe to say FNAF is a loved title. Who could have guessed that something that started off as a joke mocking game critics would turn into a worldwide success? The first 4 games alone were huge, and are constantly being debated over which one was the best. And obviously the answer is FNAF 2, right? I mean, come on. From the atmosphere, the lore introductions, and of course the actual gameplay, FNAF 2 just did it all the best. If you look at the first game's environment, everything is dark, dirty, and borderline abandoned. It fits that game's feel so perfectly and creates this haunted vibe to everything along with the laughs and screams throughout the building. The third game shares a very similar setting due to it becoming a horror attraction rather than a pizzeria. FNAF 4 isn't too far off from the same feeling, feeding off our childhood fears of the dark and just being alone in the middle of the night, causing this hopeless feeling deep inside of us. But in contrast to all of this, FNAF 2 is bright and joyful. We know that kids are actively having parties here and overall just having a fun time with their family, which I feel like actually turns this into the scariest FNAF location. No one knows how dark and twisted this place actually is, besides you. At first glance, it all looks very inviting and innocent, but after just patrolling the cameras and experiencing a single night of terror, it quickly becomes a horrifying place full of mystery and shroud. Not that shroud. It's kind of poetic, really. It perfectly represents what the pizzeria is like if you just look a little deeper. The new animatronics show the fun, playful side that they want you to see, but hidden away in the back room lies the corpses of the past, left to rot and reappear when you least expect it. One of my favorite aspects of the hidden back room is this weird animatronic. He looks so lifelike when he's sitting there begging for subs. Might as well listen, you know?
Too, and subscribe.
Anyway, this next point kind of rides the line between atmosphere and gameplay, but the office is a huge part of the atmosphere, so I feel like I have to mention it here. Instead of having an actual line of defense, like the doors, you just kind of sit there vulnerable, praying for your life. FNAF 3 is the exact same, but instead of 4 entrances, there's only 1, so I still feel like FNAF 2 is scarier in that sense. Even the lore is scarier in this sequel/prequel game. For every question this game answered, another 5 were created. But at least it gave us an actual story and timeline to the franchise. You see, Scott didn't ever think this title would be nearly as big as it would become. And the story in FNAF 1 shows that, being very vague and overall just confusing for the sake of being scary. Therefore, FNAF 2 had a lot of puzzle pieces to fit together, and had to find a way to continue this story for further games, which I believe it did perfectly. We finally got answers to the killings, the timeline, and we even got to see the killer himself, Purple Guy. And I feel like Purple Guy alone has become so big nowadays as a joke that normal people probably don't even know what game he's from. All of the lore is shown to us in a fantastic and creative way also. Instead of just having the phone guy tell us everything again, we get to experience each lore dump firsthand during the end of night minigames. Set in a very retro-style arcade game, each night ends with the player getting to walk around in the shoes of each animatronic and see what they saw firsthand. It's actually great storytelling for once in this franchise. They leave more than enough room for more questions to be asked, but are also tight enough to answer the questions we already had. Mr. MatPat Game Theory really had a field day with FNAF 2, with so many great theories. I'm not gonna go into depth for all of this, because that's really not the point of the video. But some of the most notable ones are the theory of the Bite of 87, the scrapped animatronics even existing, and who we were actually playing as. All of these questions have been answered by now, but at the time, this was groundbreaking, and you have to respect that. I already mentioned that FNAF 2 lacks a defense mechanic like the first and fourth game have, but that's not actually entirely true. If you want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it, the third game is probably the most dangerous, but I still don't feel like it's the most tense of the 4 games. Like I said earlier, FNAF 2 has the player watching 4 different areas at once, making it a lot more stressful compared to any of the other games. Your only way to combat the animatronics is with a flashlight and a mask. you might as well be helpless. The flashlight keeps the animatronics in the hall for a few seconds longer, and the mask is used to get rid of them once they're already in the room with you, which on its own is terrifying. Before, just the idea of Bonnie being outside your office was heart-stopping, but now they get the chance to stand above you while you rush to put that mask on and pray that you were fast enough. There are a total of 11 main animatronics hunting you down each night, with a bonus 5 hidden animatronics / entities. This is the most that we've ever seen, without counting Ultimate Custom Night, obviously. And while most of them come at you the same way, a good handful are very unique, and you really need to pay attention to them. This includes Balloon Boy, the Marionette, Mangle, and Foxy. Balloon Boy doesn't actually kill you, but instead steals your light batteries, guaranteeing your impending doom. I feel like it's actually a lot scarier than just getting jump scared by one of them immediately. The puppet is very iconic in a game design sense. Instead of having it roam the building slowly coming towards you, the puppet stays in its box listening to music. And if that music box ever turns off, you lose. Mangle's another funny one, because the mask and flashlight actually do work on her. The unique part comes from what she does when she finally reaches your office. On the off chance that you let Mangle make it into the room, she doesn't just instantly kill you or go away if you put on the mask. Instead, she'll just sit and watch you from the corner of the ceiling, waiting to strike. She could be there for like a whole minute before she strikes you. It's horrifying. And then finally, we have Foxy, my personal favorite animatronic. The mask is completely useless against Foxy, and will leave after the light is flashed on him for a few seconds. He's really easy to deal with. The issue is how often he actually appears. Let's say, hypothetically, Toy Chica has a 30% chance of showing up in the hall. Going off that, Foxy would have an 80% chance probably. He's so annoying, and is definitely going to drain your whole flashlight by 2 AM. It's perfectly fine to have your own opinion about which game is the best in the series, but you can't deny how impactful of a game FNAF 2 actually was. The first game's office might be the most iconic, but the sounds and ideas of the second are arguably just as or more iconic than that. So the next time you hear some weirdo make a purple guy joke, or some YouTuber use the Balloon Boy
Hi
sound effect, just remember how perfect of a game Five Nights at Freddy's 2 truly is. Thank you for watching. Where is it? Oh my god! Like, I did it on purpose! Yeah, whatever, dude. Don't look at me like that.